I'm Hudson Meester,
And I'm Carl Arps.
and today we are presenting a documentary on Chris Herron. It's an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary titled Unguarded. It's about Chris Herron, the basketball player, and the documentary hit fame due to Chris Herron's life story from using drugs to playing in the NBA to sleeping in the streets.
To give a little background on Chris Harrington, he's from Fall River, Massachusetts. He attended Fresno for college basketball after getting kicked out of Boston College. However, he was still drafted into the NBA, even though he had used a lot of drugs because of his talent. He ended up actually being drafted by the Boston Celtics, which fueled the money he had to spend on drugs, and he also played on the Denver Nuggets.
He failed drug tests at both Boston College and Fresno, which was the cause for him being kicked out of Boston College, though Fresno is more lenient, as it was common for the college. Fresno has a record for their All-American athletes, as long as police records for their athletes. His drug tests were failed due to cocaine and marijuana usage in college. He continued to use, which led to the usage of Oxy, Vicodin, and Percocet, as cocaine and marijuana no longer fit his tolerance. Due to drug use, Herron was let go from the Celtics, along with Boston College in his earlier years.
After being let go from the Celtics, Herron continued to play basketball, which was his passion throughout his entire life, though it was overseas. After returning from overseas, he continued to use drugs, though he now switched to crystal meth. Although other drugs no longer suited his tolerance, he thoroughly enjoyed crystal meth and has used it for a decently amount of time.
Not good.
Continue, Hudson, please.
Alright. Chris had a 10-year drug addiction up to the point of quitting. His addiction made his wife and family leave him. They were scared for their lives as well as for his. He made a bad name for himself as he let drugs and his addiction take over him, making it a necessity for him to have drugs in order to live his life day by day, even if it meant he had to get drugs 30 seconds before his basketball game for the Celtics, which was a true story.
So to offer up some yearly drug statistics, the yearly tobacco deaths are around 480,000 people. Alcohol deaths are around 31,000 people a year. Illegal drug deaths are around 22,000 American people a year, and there are close to 570,000 deaths around the world by drugs.
Drugs affect everyone that uses them, whether they know it or not. Chris Herron is now in charge of his own projects, sharing his personal stories and experiences, hoping to help communities become and stay sober.
The Herron Project is one of them, whose purpose is to inform everyone on the harm of substance abuse. Its use is to also give guidance to those who are struggling with substance abuse, and to benefit their lives and the lives of their friends and family. Project Purple is another project Chris has created, whose purpose is to help break the scar of addiction and to help others make positive decisions and to navigate life in a healthy and positive way. Chris also volunteers to talk at schools and universities all over the country. He tells his stories, and he also informs others on his drug use in the past and the dangers drugs can have on someone's lives. Chris has a special talent for creating a connection between younger children and letting them know his personal stories and how other kids cannot do his mistakes through his past mistakes.
Chris has been sober ever since he has quit crystal meth from his return from overseas. He has made major impacts on thousands of lives due to his life experiences and his willingness to share his experiences with others. And that's all.
Thank you. Oh my God.